Everybody's looking now at the Reagan legacy, what hath Reaganomics wrought over the last 8 years, and I have a few things to pass on to you. The first is from the Left Business Observer, a little newsletter out of New York City that provides some good numbers for you number crunchers. For instance, they say that the top 2% of U.S. households now own 54% of all financial assets. That's a familiar proportion there. In July, the Census Bureau reported that the top fifth of U.S. households got 46.1% of family income, and the lowest fifth only got 3.8%. And he says that's the most lopsided distribution in the 40 years that they've been collecting this data. And also from the Nation, continuing on with the Reagan legacy, they say in the Nation that the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities came up with a study that said despite an agreement between the White House and Congress to preserve low-income non-entitlement programs, the total 1988 appropriations in that area fell $750 million below the level they would have had to retain the same services and benefits at the 1987 levels. From fiscal 1981 to 88, after adjusting for inflation, the center says that such spending is down 54%. Since 81, housing subsidies have been cut by $32 billion, accounting for roughly 3/4 of the overall decrease. But in the same period, the number of homeless Americans has risen dramatically, and we've seen that time and again, not just on the local news. Also slashed during the Reaganomics period were job training for welfare recipients, down 81%, housing assistance for the elderly and handicapped, down 47%, and legal services for the poor, down 28%. And they conclude yet another way to judge the Reagan years. The poverty rate in 1986, which is the latest year for which figures are available, is higher than the poverty rate for any year in the 1970s. And that includes the recession of 1974-75. In the same article, they continue on Reagan Legacy Part 2. They say that the theory behind the Reagan cuts in low-income programs was that the states and the munificent private sector would rush in to fill the gap. Of course, we know how that's gone. In fact, a nationwide survey of state child care programs conducted by the Children's Defense Funds lays that all to rest. The report compared funding of child care for low-income working families in 1987 with that in 1981 and found that 22 states are serving fewer children now than they did in 1981. Only 18 states are serving more, and this is in face of an ever-increasing need for such services. In 1986, according to the Children's Defense Fund, 9.6 million preschool children had mothers in the workforce. And by 1995, that figure is expected to be 15 million. And they conclude, quote, the reduction in federal aid has severely hindered state governments in their efforts to provide adequate child care programs. Some states have used their own money to supplement federal funding, but not enough to offset federal cutbacks and keep pace with the growing demand for safe, decent, and affordable child care. So that's another part of the Reagan legacy.